But stand-up comedy, people don't know this. Stand-up comedy was not mainstream accepted then like it was now.
Not a fuck, dude. Like that's the weird thing. Like, cause like I grew up watching the stuff that was on Mnet. Like they would put these specials on, like these 1 hour specials, like
Yeah,
Chris Rock. They had Ellen DeGeneres. They had
yeah.
what's his
But I
name?
never had Eminem.
Yeah. So I mean, assume it would have been slightly different for you, but for me, like Chris Rock's the guy that like I always saw, like I always like
Yeah.
loved, and I was like, fuck,
Now I was
like I
before
wish I
that.
could do that.
I was before that. We had straight audio of Bill Cosby and Richard Pryor at the time.
Oh shit.
And the first thing that we watched was Eddie Murphy's Raw. Not the first special, which was hilarious. The second one, Raw. We watched that like as a family, and it was the most hilarious
As a
shit.
family.
Yeah, for real, bro. It was like
Uh,
the most hilarious shit to me at the time.
I guess for white families, it's like Monty Python.
Yeah, I suppose it's a lot like Monty Python. And like, say my father was like obsessed with anytime somebody came to visit, he'd be like, "Yo, have you seen Eddie Murphy's Raw?" And if they hadn't, we would watch that shit. But like, I watched that thing so many times, and so like that was the first video, and we got that video because it became unbanned as part during apartheid. That was banned. That was
Can you
part of,
imagine?
it was one of the yeah, it was definitely. So when that got unbanned, that was the first time we got to watch stand-up comedy. So by the time, but I still did a lot of the audio. I remember Chris Rock's "Bring the Pain."
Bring the pain.
I had a
Yeah,
CD of
so
that.
good.
I never watched that. I had a CD of it. I have a DVD now that I bought many years later, but I listened to that whole thing. So, and like I always loved comedy, and I should tell my friend's sister at that time, that's what I'm gonna do. Like, one day I'm gonna do stand-up comedy. But there was a big gap with it. I didn't think that was real.
That's the thing, because you always like, even me, like I was like, I want to do this thing, but I could never do
There was
that
no
thing.
real way of doing
Like,
it.
how do you get there?
Yeah, there
Like,
was no real
yeah.
avenues. Oh, but there was comedy just happening in Durban. But that was like Mark Banks, Colin D, John Flismith.
Colin D.
Yeah, it was even comedy was whitewashed at that
No, I
time.
know,
Right?
but I'm just because I remember Colin D's as a strip club, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they had comedy there. I'm not saying I didn't go for the strippers.
I didn't even know this fuck that they had comedy there.
That's what I went for.
Holy shit.
I swear to you, this sounds weird. I would go watch the comedy and then leave. Like, I wasn't interested in seeing the strippers. The strippers were a bit like, I don't know. I'm not
No.
just a stripper shame, but it was
See,
like people's wives.
I
Like the
kinda-
strippers
yeah,
at
no,
that time were
I
like,
kind of knew those strippers and stuff because I was young then, but
Yeah.
they would. My mom worked at the bowling center there, and Colin D used to play tennis and bowling.
oh,
So,
okay.
like, yeah, like, and the weirdest thing is in the oil wrestling vibe, the guy who used to do, like, basically ran the shop at the bowling center, the guy who would drill your balls and stuff like that.
Right.
Great. Drill your balls. But that guy, he basically was the ref for the oil wrestling.
Oh, he was a man of many talents. No.
Moonlighter again, fuck.
No, but for real, like I can tell you Colin D jokes now. Like I'm telling you, I know almost all Colin D's jokes, but like I used to enjoy
I had
watching.
no idea that he was a comedian. Like, wow.
But I'm telling you, I used to sit and watch. Like it was the most amazing thing to me to see people doing stand-up comedy live. And then like twice a year they would do like proper stand-up comedy shows in Durban. But even then there was like the ICC was around, but they wouldn't have comedy at like they wouldn't even have comedy at the Playhouse, dog. Like I watched first Playhouse show I watched was Mark Lottery, and I walked out. I was so
Oh
offended.
yeah, because
So offended.
you hated the stereostereotypes. And
Oh, I was enjoying the comedy, but there was a character they used to do.
Oh yes.
There was a colored lady that's a cashier, and I was like, nah, I'm done. I'm not watching this. I'm out. I love Mark now. So I like Mark is one of my favorite comedians to watch now. But at that time, I was like, nah, I'm not. Because again, comedy wasn't a space that my people were in. So I was basically sitting in this room full of people that didn't look like me. They were
laughing
like
at you.
nudging each other in the ribs and going, hey, yo, these colored guys are like that. So like I didn't like that.
But
vibe.
do you not? I mean, do you not see that within your own comedy? Like when you perform, like, and you talk about colored things, and
Absolutely.
you perform to white audiences, and how does
Absolutely.
but how do you feel about
People
that?
come up to me afterwards and feel comfortable saying the most
Racist shit.
racist shit to me because I was talking about it on stage now. So I wear that. I understand.
But how do you deal with that? Like,
Like the way I see it, if you can come up to me after a show and see something that I did and feel comfortable to be racist around me afterwards, because that happens,
then you're just racist.
then it means you were racist to start off with. like you didn't come there, saw me do comedy and went, oh, I'm racist now. Like I've had an epiphany. I've been sitting here and watching this colored guy, and now I realize that I'm racist. So I don't take responsibility for people's racism. I do, however, I do have to take responsibility for enabling racist behavior sometimes. And I do have to take responsibility for making it okay socially to talk about racist things, because I'm talking about racist things. I am.